following podcast is not affiliated with the developers who have created the games being reviewed. The reviews are solely opinions of the host and to make a decision what game to download.
Hello gamers and welcome to Budget Arcade, a free-to-play gaming podcast to help you navigate through the growing realm of free-to-play games. I'm Scott.
I'm Jeff.
And I'm Mark.
And welcome to episode number 60. Just to recap, we play a free-to-play game every other week and then we rate and review it. Mark, what was this week's game?
So this week we played or tried to play the Town of Salem. It's developed by Blank Media Games. Released originally for the PC and the Mac back in 2014. Then was released for Android and iOS in October of 2018.
Gameplay.
I've heard this game compared to multiple things. Elliot was talking about a board game called Werewolf that he kept comparing it to. I compared it to like kind of like Clue. How would you guys classify this game?
I think Clue is a pretty accurate description of what this game is, but I haven't really played anything else like it.
I need someone to explain to me what exactly is happening in this game. Because my first game, I log in, and you have to create an account. At least I found no way around not creating an account. And you start off in a little town, and what is it, like 10, 12 people?
13, maybe?
Okay, so 13 people are like around like the city center. And everybody gets assigned a job, and some people are assigned these red jobs, which make them part of the mafia. And I guess they're the bad guys. Well,
there's mafia, there's mob boss or the Godfather, there's a serial killer, there's also jester, and then there's various town functions as well, like a jailer, a investigator. Oh, there's also a framer on the bad guy's side. So there's 4 bad guy roles. Yeah, 4 bad guy roles. The framer, mafioso, Godfather, and the serial killer.
So as far as I could tell, and Mark may have to correct me, you were supposed to hunt down, figure out who all the bad guys were. And have them hanged. Now,
correct.
Or if you were the bad guys, you had to kill everybody else in the town.
Okay. It seemed like everybody in my lobby knew what they were doing except for me. I had no idea what was happening. How do you tell who a killer is? What, you just get in. So I would get into the town and everybody would go to sleep, and then you'd wake up the next morning and someone's dead. And then you put someone up, you vote for someone or put them on trial, and then you vote whether or not you hang them. Now, I voted every time to hang them with no evidence of any kind, and I just was like, didn't worry about it.
That's like Salem witch trials.
Well, that's why it's called Salem, right?
Right. So I tried that the first couple of times that I just willy-nilly just decided to pick random people, and I quickly drew the ire of the rest of the players, and they accused me of throwing the game, and it was kind of comedic at first, but then as I continued to play play different games. And I got one time I got the role as I think it was a doctor one time, and I had I was actually trying to do my given job, and there was somebody in the game that was just completely throwing the game just because they probably, like me, didn't know what the hell was going on, and
right.
And I quickly got upset. I was like, "What are you doing?"
So, can you explain to us how you properly play this game?
So from kind of deductive reasoning at first, you have to communicate. You have to communicate with the other players, and that's why this game doesn't quite work out so well on a handheld with your phone or whatnot. Just simply because you get a certain amount of seconds every night or throughout the day where you can talk to everybody at once. And
yes, so hard to communicate on mobile
Right.
as opposed to probably playing on the PC. I felt that trying to type in the lobby to even say anything to the defense of myself or anything else like that, or be like, hey, I think this person might be something we should like question them. I didn't have the time. Plus, whenever my keyboard would open in the game, it would take up so much room
Right.
that it was like hard to see what was even going on.
Yeah, that's like certain roles you have to communicate at night. You have to you can communicate with like as the jailer. You can take somebody to jail, and then you can communicate directly with that one particular player at night while they're in jail, and you can ask them questions like, "Hey, what's your role? Do you know anybody else's role?" and all that. And trying to type, like Scott, you said, it takes up so much time, and you end up just wasting your ability trying to type shorthand or in acronyms or whatever, trying to say, hey, what are you up to? And it didn't work out so well.
Now, did you mention this is on PC as well?
Yeah.
Yes.
Is it crossplay? So were we playing in a lobby with people just on mobile, or was it?
No, I think we were playing
PC?
cross-platform.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was cross-platform on this one as well.
Okay, that's interesting. So much of the game then is made up of people knowing what to do, because as far as I could tell, there's no explanation. I just press start and I'm in a game and the madness begins. And
Right.
I had no idea what was happening. It didn't seem the game holds your hand at all.
No, and the
Yeah,
people that I was playing with seemed to have been playing this. They were veterans. They knew exactly what was going on. They knew who to talk to. They knew what their roles were. And it seemed every time, like you, Jeff, that I'm the only one that didn't know what the hell was going on, and I'm just pressing buttons.
Now, Mark, as an officer of the law, why didn't you interrogate people properly?
Probably because my keyboard's so big.
Good answer.
I mean, it's but like, so the role of, like, just say the sheriff, since we're down that road right now. You have to interrogate somebody every night, and they can tell you that, yes, I'm medium, or I'm the mayor, or I'm actually an escort, or whatever the role is, and then you have these notes that you can take through the game, and you're supposed to, as far as I can tell, take good notes about what happens every night.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you document, or process of elimination, who is who, and that's who you can pinpoint on who to put on trial and potentially lynch.
I noticed too, when someone died, their notes showed up and became available, right?
Yeah, and that you'd have to put that in the will,
Right,
for those to show up for people to see.
Mm.
And if you had a town role, apparently that is a main thing that you're supposed to do, is you got to put it in those notes. Be like, if you're the jailer, you interrogated this person and they said that they were, the escort. So, they're not one of the bad guys. Other stuff like that.
But they could be the bad guy, because they could have just said they were the escort, right?
yes,
I mean,
yes.
That's it. The bad guy, there's nothing preventing the bad guy from lying to you.
No, but there's, there's the serial killer. Everything I looked at, because, after the first couple games, I was like, let me look up what the heck I'm supposed to be doing here. And I started reading about the different roles and what they're supposed to do. And the one particular role of serial killer, well, you think they're a bad guy, but they're actually like a neutral role. It doesn't really matter if you kill them, but their job is to kill one person every night or every day or whatever. And then they're almost like a roadblock to you figuring out who is actually a part of the mafia. And so that particular person, whoever the serial killer is, they're trying to not throw the game, but throw you off of, whoever. And they may team up with the mafia, whoever that is, and communicate, which whisper in the game, and whoever's the mafia could say, hey, kill this person for me, and I'm going to kill this person. And the serial killer is considered a neutral role, though. So it's difficult to weed through the roles, just simply because there's a lot of them.
Yeah, and I don't know, I can't remember what role I had, but it didn't seem like I didn't really have any options of doing anything at all. I went to bed and hoped to not get killed, but again, that could just be not understanding what was going on.
You might have been a normal villager, which I don't think they do anything except take up space and try to vote, who they want to be hanged.
That seemed to be all I was capable of.
Well, like the role of medium, you couldn't do much except talk to dead people. In my experience, that wasn't much of anything. It's because usually when a player got lynched or killed or whatever, they just left the game, and so I was left doing nothing, and that just seemed to be a waste of a gameplay, and and simply because the games they take a while. These aren't quick games either, so when you have a role that doesn't really do much, you're just kind of watching everything play out.
Yeah, I had him around where I was the escort, and I got killed when I went to somebody's house. So I guess that person actually killed me, and the median was trying to contact me and say, "Who killed you?" And unfortunately, I forgot whose house I went to that night, so I couldn't even tell them.
Yeah. So I think if you're listening to this, that actually sounds like it's a cool game, right? As Mark's talking about it, I'm like, that sounds fun. Like if you had enough people you knew to sit around and who knew how to play the rules or knew how to play by the rules, it took the game seriously. I think it probably could be fun. It doesn't welcome newcomers very well.
Yeah,
I would have to agree.
And a couple games that I was in, I only played in the classic mode, which it's just, I guess, a regular game. Several people at the end of the game, it says either town wins or mafia wins, and you win or lose. And there's a chat room, a lobby of sorts, where everybody in the game can kind of talk. And a couple of games, people were like, "I hate classic mode. The classic mode sucks." And I'm like, "What's wrong with it?" So I would say, Jeff, that you're right. That if you're a established player of this game, you probably take it a little bit more serious. You have a little bit more fun with it, and I can see where it would be enticing to get a role that you can actually do a lot with.
Paywall.
And speaking of classic mode, let's transition into the what paying gets you, because one of the things that you could purchase was the expansion to this, which was that was the Coven expansion. So Town of Salem is the base game, but you actually had to purchase the Coven expansion to be able to play that.
I did not.
Well, no, I mean, obviously none of us purchased it, but that's what one of the purchasable items was.
Yeah, I didn't even look at it. I don't even know. Like, does it expand on the roles?
I believe so. I think it expands on the gameplay quite a bit, apparently, but I didn't really dive into what it actually had into it. I probably should have looked it up online to see if there was anything in particular for that.
Well, looking at it now, it says there's new roles: the Hex Master, Master of the art of spell slinging, whose attacks won't take effect until all members of the town are hexed. Then a devastating blow will be dealt. Then there's the Poisoner, who I guess just poisons people. And then there's Potion Master, who...
So it sounds like it's more based on witchcraft because of the Coven part and actually Salem witch trials and all that, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, there's several new roles, both town and I guess Coven. I guess Coven replaces the Mafia role, and so you're trying to, I guess, actually put witches on trial instead of Mafia people.
Okay.
So that makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah, I think once you are able to grasp the actual gameplay in the original, it would probably be worth it to purchase the game if you enjoy the gameplay. You could also purchase, it was like houses basically, and I guess they just changed the cosmetic on your specific house while you're in the town.
Yeah. I noticed some people had like castles for houses, but when I went to go play around with mine, it was just the skin, the appearance, and so there wasn't really much to that.
Yeah, so there's an expansion you can purchase, and then you can purchase skins for your houses, and I believe skins for your character as well, if I'm not mistaken. As the free-to-play side of this game, you actually have to watch a advertisement to be able to play each round, and if you purchase the full game, the advertisements are taken out as well.
Yeah, and I'm fine with that compromise. Like, I know games, they need a way to make their money, and if and like Mark said, these are long games, so you sit through a 30-second ad and then you're playing a game for 20-30 minutes. It's not bad. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I'm okay with that too. I've played other games where the ads were obnoxious and you had to continue to watch ads just to play the games. And so this was a good happy medium or compromise. You know, you want to load up and play a round, then you're going to watch an ad, and that's all you got to do. I'm fine with that too.
Replayability.
Just simply because there's so many roles, I feel like the replayability is pretty high, you know, and it's random. You don't get to pick your role, so your role is chosen at random, or so it says. And so you play 5 games, and you may get a role twice, or you may get a completely different role each time. And each role carries different traits and different responsibilities. So, in my opinion, the replayability is pretty high.
Yeah, and I think especially if you have friends who also play and enjoy the game. Like, this game made me wish I had the board game. Like, it seems like that would be a fun thing to do when you got a bunch of friends over. Yeah, so as far as just replayability goes, I think that it's definitely there if the gameplay appeals to you. Really not much else to say. I mean, because like Mark said, it's got a random nature as to what class you get. And then there's the fact that everybody else is a real person playing the game. Every time you play is going to be different. So I think the replayability level would be high.
Yeah. So, okay, let's just dive a little bit deeper into the replayability. Jeff, how many games did you end up playing this couple weeks?
Do I have to say?
That's that low?
It was single digits for sure. I could not figure out what was going on, and that's, you know, it's a trait. Mark, I want to welcome you to the podcast and let you know that this does happen on occasion, where a game is just so bad that I just can't do it, and I appreciate your integrity of playing the game, figuring it out, and bringing it to the podcast. And
well, listen, if I'm up to 60 podcasts like you, Jeff, I feel like I probably wouldn't tote as much weight as I did with this game. I'm trying to earn my keep around here still. So
yeah.
I got to show you guys that I'm legit with the gameplay.
Okay, fair enough. Well, you've proven it this week.
Mark, how many rounds would you say you've played on this game in the last couple of weeks?
Probably around 12 or 13.
Okay, and in those 12 or 13, how many different roles were you slotted into?
I got to think about that. One role that I got obnoxiously a lot, probably about 5 times, was the medium. And there's probably a number percentage that, you know, players get when they're assigned a role. Like you strike gold when you're either the sheriff or the Godfather or whatever. But I had the did I play the sheriff once? Yeah, I think I did play the sheriff once. I had the serial killer once.
Ooh, see that? I think, like, had I gotten the serial killer or like a compelling role, I might have enjoyed the game more. But the fact that I got into a thing and I couldn't do anything, like a jailer or a serial killer, getting that first time, I think would definitely make a different impact.
Well, it's like in the jailer, I didn't play as the jailer role, but from what I could tell is the jailer is somebody that you want to communicate amongst the town people trying to get the mafia, is because you can throw somebody in jail and then the mafia can't kill them for that night. And if you're trying to keep the sheriff or the investigator alive long enough to figure out who the Godfather is, I feel that the jailer and the bodyguard role are pretty important. But as far as the other roles go, I got the investigator once. I got the executioner once. That was weird. But who else did I have? I think I had the doctor once, and I had the ability to heal. Like if somebody got shot during the night, I could quickly go and heal them and bring them back to life. and they can potentially tell who shot them. So that's an interesting role. I did play as the mafioso once, and that's so we didn't talk on that. It's so in the mafioso and the Godfather. If the Godfather were to be killed during the game, you get elevated to the Godfather. And Scott, I think you said that you had that happened to you once, right?
Yes, it did happen to me once. I had a round where I was the mafioso. The Godfather got killed. I had to take his place. And then I did have one round where I was actually the Godfather from the start.
And what was... So I never got the Godfather. What was you just went around killing people?
So with the Godfather, you actually had to call the hits on people. So you would say, okay, tonight I want you to kill this person. And the mafiosos would have to decide whether or not to follow your orders. They could either kill that person or they could just ignore your orders and kill somebody else if they wanted to.
And what would be the purpose of them ignoring the order?
That I'm not sure. I think, because every time I ordered a hit, somebody would carry out the hit. So I don't think there was a punishment that I could see. Maybe if they hadn't done the hit, something would have popped up and I could have punished them or whatnot. But as far as I was concerned, there didn't seem to be any reasoning why they wouldn't do it. So I played about 8 matches, I think. I got Framer one time, which is interesting. If somebody's being investigated and you, like if it's a regular person and you go to frame them the same night that they're being investigated, there's actually, you give evidence that they're one of the bad guys, even if they're a good guy, and they can end up being killed there. Like I said, I got Mafioso the one time. I've got the Godfather one time. My first game, I was an escort, and you can actually... the escort's kind of like a neutral role, and you could distract people at night. Sometimes it'll be the good guys or the bad guys, depending. But like if you distracted a bad guy that was going after you, you would get killed. But yeah, there's a lot of replayability here with all the different roles, and each game is going to be different every time you play it too.
Yeah, and I thought that was the one of the main draws to the game, is that every outcome is different. There is no two games that are exactly the same. You may not even play with the same two people, or 12 other people.
Right, 11. No, 12. Yes.
And not only that, you can change your name every game when you go into the lobby. So you could be playing the same people, but you wouldn't know it because they picked a different name.
Right, and it even tells you in the lobby how many people are playing the game at that particular moment, worldwide, I guess. And it was, to me, I thought it was pretty high. Several thousand people play in this game at any particular moment. Shows, and it's a 6-year-old game now, shows that there is in fact replayability to it.
Judgment.
At the end of each episode, we decide if a game deserves our seal, which is our general thumbs up or thumbs down, and needs a 2/3 vote to be approved. Mark, what do you say about this game?
It's a split for me because I didn't play it on the PC, and I really wish that I had, because I feel like I could have perhaps enjoyed it more, and maybe have recommended it in a better light. But for me, it's a no, just simply because on mobile, it's a hassle.
I would have to agree with that. I think it probably plays better on PC as opposed to mobile. So honestly, I would say go for the PC experience of this game as opposed to the mobile. I'm going to give it my seal just because it's very interesting. Like, once you learn how to play this game, I think this game is a lot of fun because it's like one of those party games that you could be playing with friends and stuff like that. So it's going to get my seal. What about you, Jeff?
I was hoping you would have said no, so I could have just sat back and said yes for no reason at all. I obviously didn't enjoy the game, but I don't feel like I gave it a fair chance because it sounds really interesting. But I think just there's got to be a better version of this type of game out there. So if you're listening, definitely hit us on social media and let us know if maybe there's a game like this or that's actually better. It's severely lacking in tutorials. The UI doesn't help. And for me, I would have to say no, obviously, because it just isn't approachable at all. And the fact that if I had gotten a different role, maybe I'd have enjoyed it more, but it's hard to recommend because it's so esoteric in its nature. So, no, thank you.
Yep. I mean, I don't blame you for that, Jeff. I agree 100% on that. But the only reason I'm giving it my seal was because I think this game does deserve a fair shake if you can get into it.
Yeah. So my thing was, I was going to just, whatever Mark said, I was going to match his because he actually played the game as opposed to me. So I was going to double down. But I did not want to be caught in the middle. I was hoping you'd have said no, and then I could have just done anything.
That's fine. We do have one listener commentary.
Holy
Nomic.
cow! Oh, it's Nomic. Hey, what's up, Nomic?
Yeah, Nomic. He actually had played this game before we had even pulled this game as one of our games of the week. By the way, the game is not Budget Arcade approved. Sorry about that for anybody listening who loves this game. But Nomic did give a quite lengthy commentary on this. Jeff, you want to take this or you want me to?
Let me find it because... Woo, Nomic. Does he write for our website? You should have him write for budgetarcade.com because...
I've had him write a couple for our website so far.
Okay, well, I will blurb through this as fast as I can. Town of Salem is basically a good versus evil team game with a couple of extra characters thrown in. When you join a match, you get assigned to random roles, such as a medium who can talk to the dead, or a jester whose sole purpose is to convince everyone to hang him. I didn't know that. Like, the jester is trying to get hanged? I wonder what he gets for being... That's... Okay. There are 3 factions, Town, Mafia, and Neutral. The Town is essentially the good guys, majority of the player base, and the Mafia bad. To give an example of a game, I was an investigator, a town member. During the first day, we greeted each other. First night, I investigated a player whose name caught my eye, Siren. My investigation told me that they had 1 of 3 possible roles. All town factions, so I jotted that down in my will. Day, they lynched someone and turned out he was Mafia. Lucky. Second night, I discovered another person was either a vigilante or Mafia. Next day, they confessed that their role was vigilante. Since they said a role matching without my help, I deemed them to be telling the truth and told everyone. Third night, I was attacked and healed by the doctor. Fourth day, I was lynched randomly. Upon my death, they learned that I was an investigator, like I admitted, and read my will, which contained my investigations. We ended up winning as a town, but yeah, I died. The game is a lot of guesswork. Every night you can use your ability to try to reduce the guessing, and during your day, you have to control the mob mentality that other players have. It's a difficult game, not because of you as a player, but just the entirety of it. Out of 17 games, I've only lived through 1 or 2. I always get killed in a random lynch of accusation. The game can be fun if you don't mind losing. If not it's not super competitive. Paywall isn't bad since it's mostly cosmetic, but you can actually buy scrolls that give you a higher chance of achieving a certain role at the game's start, such as serial killer. Overall, I'd give it my seal if you don't mind writing my wiki. If you don't mind reading a wiki about the roles and diving in for numerous games, drowning before learning to swim. Chances are the other players will get you killed. Although it gets a seal from me, it is by no means a Chess Rush equivalent. Nomic is a man after my own heart with his love for Chess Rush.
Well, he's deemed that Chess Rush is his standalone go-to. If it's going to be within the realm of Chess Rush, then he approves the game.
Ah, okay.
He said that in the Discord the other day.
Yeah, you gotta tag me if I'm gonna read it, because I don't Discord very well. I need to work on that.
That's okay. I don't think you or Mark does Discord very well.
Well, you better. Why does it sound so mean coming from you?
I lurk the Discord. I just don't Discord the Discord.
That seems like if you tag me, I will respond. But otherwise, I'm bad about keeping up with reading it.
So Lincoln, Coconut Wizard, Nomic, make sure you tag Jeff a lot.
Lord help me.
Repeatedly.
Well, as long as it makes sense, like as long as it's something never mind. Can we go home now?
All right, so next week we are going to be playing Legends of Runeterra.
Yes! We're playing a good game this week.
It's
Says
a card game.
It's a card game.
It's another card
I've been playing it, and we'll have a lot to say, but my early impressions are quite positive.
Well,
Should they
Let's
listen?
just say
Should they
my
listen to the
game's
Gwent
played.
podcast first?
They can? Sure. I don't... This game is so different, though. It's so much better.
What a tease.
Yeah. Again, if you want to get in touch with us and let us know if there's a better version of this game, or to tell us, me specifically, how wrong I am, you can find us on Twitter and Instagram at Budget Arcade. Our website is www.budgetarcade.com. We also can be seen on Facebook, facebook.com/budgetarcade.
We want to thank everybody for joining us, support the show. You can subscribe to the show wherever you listen to podcasts. We're on multiple platforms. Leave us a kind review wherever you listen. You can join our Patreon at patreon.com/budgetarcade. You can purchase our t-shirts or other apparel at hotkeygaming.com/budget-arcade. And don't forget to use the promo code ButtBiscuits to get 10% off your order.
From here on out,
that's fine.
When you get to the promo code, can you just stop talking and let me say it?
Sure, I
Thank
can
you.
do that. And if you can't support us financially, be sure to tell a friend about the show. The more people who listen to the show, the better. You can send any hate mail to show@budgetarcade.com. And we actually got an email the other day, but it was, I think the person, English wasn't their primary language, so I didn't quite understand the email that well. After a little prodding, he did say that he really enjoys the show and to keep up the good work.
Oh, thank you.
And that was, I believe his name was Michael.
Yeah, Scott doesn't know how to read, so your email was probably fine.
You want me to read it?
No. I'm just making fun of you.
Yeah, okay. Do you want to be like that, huh?
Yes.
It was, well, his name was Michael Sparks, and thank you for reaching out to us, Michael. We're glad that you listened to the show. Music is provided by Stimage, and you can download his music at metroidmetal.com. Game on.
With Scott, you need to use short, small words.